What's up, guys? Welcome back to round 14. We were in mid joke right there, Tony. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to do another episode, and we've got a pretty big show tonight.
Yeah, this one's good. This one's got a bunch of stuff on it. It's exciting. We're branching out.
Yeah, we're branching out.
15 episodes, 15 weeks. We're still around. We're on a variety of streaming services. So
sure, we're on the Action Heroes Podcast Network. I know I usually do that at the end, but hell, we're changing things up tonight.
Sure.
We enjoy being on the network. For those listening, audio, take us with you in the car. Watch us on YouTube. There's all kinds of spots where you can find our friendly faces now. So, and our voices are even better. So
yeah, you'd rather the voices, I'm sure.
Hey, don't say that. I mean, look at you. You got the nice.
Hey, forget about
14
it. Right?
hat on.
Forget about it for everything.
Forget about it.
So we're going to talk about.
You got the nice hat on there, sporting round 14. You got the nice background now.
Rick's my man. Rick got me all my signs.
Yeah, they're glowing again tonight.
I know. Look at them.
I love them.
They're good stuff.
I love them. Well, listen.
So we're gonna start off this episode talking about Tony on the Rocky world, and not this Tony, obviously. Tony Gazzo.
Yeah, from Rocky. So, Mr. Gazzo, quite a character.
Mr. Gazzo was the second-rate loan shark, as Mickey called him. He was in Rocky and Rocky 2, played by the great Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
Who was also in some other movies we'll be talking about in a little while.
Sure.
But he was about, he was second-rate mob ties where Rocky was doing collecting for him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I mean, it's like, that's how you were introduced to Rocky. That was his job. And you think about, like, what other jobs did he try to get? I mean, he probably, it seemed, I mean, he said in the interviews in Rocky 2 that he dropped out of school in 9th grade, if I remember correctly.
Yep, 9th.
Right? So, I mean.
I love that scene too, right? Because he's going for these office type interviews, and he's got the blue leisure suit on, and
I know,
he's not looking up at him. He's reading the paper, and he's like, "How far did you go in high school?" And he's like, 9th. Yeah, it's like, well, he did he even show up to high school? So,
but he went, and I'm sure he's probably putzing around the docks or something, or maybe more likely he was Gazzo and maybe some of his other mob friends were at one of Rocky's fights.
Sure,
betting on one of the fighters. Hey, Rock, how do you feel tonight? Something along those lines. So it became, and I do believe Gazzo had a soft spot in his heart for Rocky. He protected him a little bit when Buddy got a little mouthy with him about Adrian being retarded, and the truck that ran over his face and stuff like that.
That's another great line, eh? Remember, some guys, they just hate.
They just hate for no reason.
Right? I loved it.
How great of a line is that, period, for life?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We always mention how Sly wrote every word for Rocky.
Yeah.
And for him to come up with that, there's these little subtle lines in there.
Yeah.
They're not subtle to most of us who adore this character or love these movies. We've seen them over again. But think about that, right? Some guys just hate. And you know what? For no reason.
Very true. Very true. But he looked out for him and gave him some, training money and stuff, and went to his fight, and he even bet on him. On him when he knew Apollo was going to destroy him. He knew it. But he was, I don't want to say connected. Gazzo was a little bit in some way, even though Mickey calls him a second-rate loan. He probably was a second-rate, obviously.
Right. But at those workers at the dock, right? I mean, they know Gazzo has Rocky collected, who's a fighter, right? And a tough, Rocky's street, okay? Rocky's not some guy they pulled out of the office and said, hey, go down there and collect the money from this guy, collect the money from this guy. He's a thug, okay? He's
Sure, and they know Rocky's a fighter. They've seen him fight, or they heard about his fights. They know he's no joke, even though Rocky is a little softy sometimes, like he didn't break the guy's thumbs.
Well, that's just it, right? He chases the guy down on the little truck there, forklift, pallet lifter, whatever it is. and he's running. The guy's scared. And he says, Mr. Gazzo says, I get to, 200, I break your thumbs. Break your thumbs. Now you're into the mob right there for that.
Yeah. But see, the unrealistic part, so to speak, about that scene is that he did not break his thumbs, as we both know.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have flied very well in the real mob world. That would.
Yeah.
Gaz always said, do what I tell you to do. You make me look bad, whatever.
Yeah.
But trust me.
That's great too, because another great scene with the two of them. He goes, I pull over here. I want to talk to Rocky for a second. I'm gonna let him out. Goes over there and he gets the inhaler out and
that was real. That inhaler,
right? Yeah,
that was real. He was real. He was having an asthma attack.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they used it, right? They didn't cut it out of the movie. So
no, Alvinson said it looked perfect because it looked so realistic.
Yeah, and that's
just leave it.
That's just great directing because it has that real feel to it, right? Mm-hmm. So people can connect with that. It's like, geez, I got asthma and I'm about to give this guy shit, but I got to take a puff here real quick. But the best part is, how come you didn't break these guys' thumbs like I tell you? Don't think I hear things. Right.
I like Rocky's excuse. He's like, I break his thumbs, then he doesn't go to work, and then he can't pay you the 200.
and then Gazzo's like, let me do the thinking. Right. Let me do the thinking. Like you're not being paid to think.
Right.
I get told that a few times.
Yeah, exactly. Do what I tell you to do. But and then if Gazzo went to Rocky 2 as well. Mm-hmm. He wasn't in it very much in Rocky 2, but he was there. He was at the wedding.
Yeah,
and he was at the fight.
And then you see him when Rocky's sweeping up in Mickey's gym. He comes in,
which is a great scene. I mean, he comes in. He goes, this place stinks. What are you doing here? Besides, you're Italian.
Yeah, come back to the docks, fresh air. Right?
Get some fresh air.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't do that. Rocky. That's where you can tell that he had a hard time in the first film. At the first scene, supposedly breaking the guy's thumb. Right. I can't do that stuff no more. He says, he's married now. He can't be breaking people's thumbs and body parts and right. So, but great scene. No, great scene. But what about Rambo? There's a mob connection.
There is in the Last Blood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Last Blood. You got a little Mexican cartel going on down there.
Right. With the trafficking, right? And and then
a whole other different type of mafia connection.
Sure. And that's a connected thing. And unfortunately, you find Rambo personal connection to these guys, right?
Right.
So, and it doesn't end well for these guys, right? Like they have Rambo, but once he figures it out, once he, sucks them into his trap, but that's sort of the theme tonight is the mob factor, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of different types of the mob. I mean, and obviously the Mexican cartel does a lot of other stuff that other mobs or mafias don't do.
Mm-hmm. You got to remember, like in that movie, and we're talking movies, people were,
right.
They're into the trafficking. Obviously, they're into the drugs because the drug and the young ladies, right? And it has that. It really gets real. That that movie.
It's really very real. I mean, that trafficking is a real thing. I mean, that's not made up for movies. I mean, they took that and ran. I actually told my girls to watch it because of how it went down. Mm-hmm. And my girls are mid to late teens.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is how quick it could happen.
Yeah,
this is realistic.
Exactly. Yeah,
and these cartels, which is the Mexican mafia, they know what I shouldn't say they know what they're doing. I hate to say it like that, but I mean they do. They know what to do and when to do it, and it's scary.
And in Last Blood, they knew exactly who to target, right?
Right.
So unfortunately, they messed with the wrong person. So
yeah, they did,
and pretty violent.
Yeah, very few people could take down a whole mafia type family.
Right. But there's very few people that can, have access to tunnels and make deadly booby traps like John J. Rambo.
Right, exactly.
Right. Well, we thought we would take, something from Rocky and something from Rambo. And since we're on the mob theme, Tony, quite a few mob movies.
Yeah, we put a little survey out there, as you know, you saw that, and
Yep.
the mob. We did mob sci-fis or westerns, and the mob won hands down in a landslide. That they wanted us to discuss the mob movies, and everybody always they've been around a long time. They've been around since Jimmy Cagney. They've been around since Humphrey Bogart, back in the 40s and 50s. But obviously, the big heavy hitters came around, in the 70s and on. So we're going to discuss them. And as always, guys, this is not a top 10 legitimately. This is number 1. This is number 10. This is just us talking about 10 movies that have always been like, if you talked about mafia movies, these are brought up. And hands down, these are the 10.
That's right. And they sort of just surface. If you could ask 10 today and 10 tomorrow, most of these come up every time.
Yeah, there's probably 6 or 7 of them that will definitely be on everyone's list. And then there's, a few others that are mix and match type of deal.
Sure.
Out of the list that we have, I mean, Robert De Niro's in 6 of them.
We said I can see this trending towards a Robert De Niro list.
Yeah. Well, we'll be going. Well,
I asked that question.
Al Pacino's not far behind. Al Pacino's in 5 of them.
And I asked that question last week, and I already knew the answer. Is there anything that De Niro cannot do?
No, there's not.
Mob, action.
So De Niro's comedy. In 6 of them. Pacino's in 5 of them. Scorsese directed 4 of them. These are the top. These are the best. These are the top guns of mafias.
Yeah,
top guns, no pun intended. So we'll start off with number 10 at Irishman. The Irishman was a Martin Scorsese movie, obviously, with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci coming back. Joe Pesci hasn't acted until this movie for decades. It's been a long time since he's been there. And again, Pacino and De Niro together since Heat. Actually, no, I apologize. No, they did another movie after that. But
now let me interrupt here for a second.
Yeah.
Make sure you have some time to watch this movie because it's not short.
No, it's not short.
It's not a short movie. But you know what? I found it. I wasn't like, oh God, when is this thing going to end? I was like, holy Jesus, this is really good. And then after it was over, I realized, oh my God, I didn't realize it was that long. But
3.5 hours went by.
Yeah, it's there's certain movies other movies that I wish were this long or this much detail.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But the movie has some truths. It has some fallacies. It has some dramatized movie Hollywood story. But again, as always, Scorsese, De Niro, Pacino.
Yeah.
It's a top 10.
Oh, it's good.
Great film. It's on one of the streaming services, I'm sure. It was on Netflix last I looked. The one after that, again, Donnie Brasco, number 9 kind of. Al Pacino again.
Yeah.
Now, this one was based on a true story. He went and infiltrated the mob as an FBI agent, Joe Patone. And if you watch the film, again, we've prefaced this in every single top 10 we do. These movies are 20, 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
So they should have been watched by now. And if not, then please pause the show and go watch them and then come back and watch the show.
Or even you might, we're not going to give the whole movie away. So you might hear something here and geez, Tim and Tony were talking about that. And I haven't seen that movie. So I'm going to check it out. So
go check it out. But that was based on a true story and he did infiltrate the mob. It really did happen. And obviously they did, exaggerate some things, I'm sure, for Hollywood purposes. But for the most part, the story was told.
Right.
I like his forget about it scene where Johnny Depp is explaining forget about it to the FBI agents. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, it could mean, oh, that glass of wine was so good, forget about it. Or it could mean, hey, what about that guy Tim? Oh, Tim, forget about it. He's a good guy.
Forget about it.
It's so funny how he talks about that. But number 8 on the list would be The Untouchables.
Yeah.
Back to Robert De Niro. So this one here is kind of based on a true story because Al Capone was a real gangster, obviously.
Yep.
And the FBI was after him for a long time. Great movie.
Oh,
fantastic movie. Please watch it if you haven't watched it.
One hell of a cast. in this too,
Sean
right?
Connery won Best Supporting Actor. Kevin Costner, who always gives a great performance, gives another one of his great performances. Of course, Robert De Niro, being the method actor that he is, he gained like 85 pounds to play Al Capone. Such a good film. I mean, Andy Garcia's in it.
Yeah.
It's so good. Definitely check it out if you have not seen that movie. But again, based on true story, a little exaggerated, but of course they're all going to be a little exaggerated. So we got 10, 9, 8. We got number 7. Number 7 is A Bronx Tale. It's a little bit different film for mob movies.
Yeah.
Because this one here is taken in the eyes of a kid who lives in the neighborhood where the mob runs, but his father, who is De Niro, De Niro doesn't play the mob guy in this movie.
And that's when it first came out and I saw the poster, I immediately go with Robert De Niro. I looked at that and I thought, oh, De Niro's got to be the mob boss in this. And I was completely surprised when I watched it. And I felt he's the father, the bus driver.
Yeah.
Right. So great twist to it.
Phenomenal film. And he's trying to teach his son that he doesn't need to be, you know, like the mob guy, Sonny.
Yep.
They fear him. They don't love him. He gives him that great speech of who's the tough guy. The tough guy is the working man. Get up every morning, go to a job every day. That's the tough guy. Doesn't take a tough guy to pull a trigger.
Yeah.
Phenomenal film written by Chaz Palminteri, who played Sonny. And
not only that, De Niro's character, how he goes and confronts him, right?
Yeah.
And he shows him, look, that's the mob boss. I'm going to tell you, I'm raising my son.
How great was that scene? Oh, when he goes in and he takes his look, I know who you are, Sonny. I know what you can do. You know, I'm not afraid of you. This is my son.
I think best scene in the movie.
Phenomenal
for me, anyways. You know,
phenomenal scene. After that, we have The Departed, which is another Scorsese film. This time, not with De Niro or Pacino. This one has the great Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
I mean, all-star cast. Great film.
Great film.
A little bit of a twist ending, I guess you could say. Didn't see some of it coming. But and loosely based on Whitey Bulger is Jack Nicholson's character.
Right.
So it's loosely based on a true character, not the story. But I thought it was phenomenal.
Sure.
I thought it was one of his better works. I mean, I know he has that same style in all of his mob movies, but it was very, very good. Very well done. Excuse me. After that, we have the top 5. We have, I guess, we have Scarface.
You could put these, I don't want to say, like I said, we're not doing 10 to 1, but they could flip flop in any top 5.
Oh, these 5 could be first of all, these 5 are going to be on everybody's list.
Yeah.
Everybody. I don't care who you're naming. And these 5 could be mix and match to be number 1, number 3, number 4, whatever it may be. But this one here, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Directed by the great Brian De Palma. Palmer. Sorry, I couldn't speak. Oliver Stone. I mean, just phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Pacino is in 2 of the greatest movies of the 20th century. He, of course, puts an amazing performance in on that film. Again, a lot of big names. Michelle Pfeiffer. Robert Loggia is in that movie. We know about him in Over the Top. But great film. And it's a long one.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a short film. But again, very classic mob connection type of movies from Cuba coming into the United States and Florida. And then after that, we have, again, Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone, and Casino.
Unbelievable. Right.
This was a very good, this was phenomenal film.
Yeah.
Phenomenal film. And loosely based on true events and true people. Names have been changed and so forth and so on.
Sure. But I could see a lot of the, loosely based or based on, I mean, I could see where they got their concept pretty easily, right?
Sure.
It could almost write itself if you're in that lifestyle, or you know somebody that works in the casinos, it wouldn't be hard to put this movie. I'm taking that with a grain of salt, people.
Yeah,
I can see where the script writes itself almost.
Right.
I probably didn't take long to write it.
No, I mean, Vegas was, started by the mob, started by the mafia, and it's based in that world.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, you could pick any one of the guys out there who started way back when in the 50s and 60s when
I imagine they have stories.
Oh, I'm sure.
And there's probably stories that will never get publicly told.
No,
but there's
just like there's I'm sure there's things in the desert that will never be found.
That's right.
So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then the three heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Again, zero order.
Yeah.
We just pulled them up this way.
Well, maybe we get to number one. It might validate as number one. But hey, like I said, these five are on everybody's list.
Agreed. And these three, I mean, three could be the next one up. Number 3 is Goodfellas. And this one here could be mixed and matched with number 2, number 1.
Sure.
On anybody's list. Quote unquote, by some of the real mafia lifestyle people, the most realistic and the most truest form of that world was that movie. Ray Liotta, who has just recently passed.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. Paul Sorvino, who also recently passed.
Yeah.
Lorraine Bracco. I mean, such a good movie based on a true story.
And I really liked the time frame. Was so drawn out, right? Like it wasn't just this happened in the short period of time. They took the movie from years and years, right?
Like I mean, it covered almost a decade.
Yeah,
it did. I mean, it was. Remember, he was a little boy at first.
Yep.
He was young. He was a young boy.
Badass movie, I tell you, it was.
There's so much in that film that is so good, and so I mean, it was one of the first films that I don't want to say. I mean, not put Scorsese on the map because he was very, established and respected by that point, but. The panning of the camera, the cutting of the songs that match the decade, and such a good film, such good writing. Of course, the acting speaks for itself. Amazing film. And if you haven't seen that film, shame on you. Go watch it now. I don't want to hear why. Just watch it.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. I mean, you will absolutely enjoy that movie. I'm sure most of the people have seen it. But.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Number 2 here is the Godfather Part 2 with Mr. Al Pacino again.
Yeah.
I love that picture. Look at that picture.
Well, you know what? I look at that picture and I apologize for people listening, but we have the poster of Godfather Part 2 up. Telling you, he's a powerful dude right there.
Yeah. Al Pacino is sitting in his leather chair, staring, looking like he's going to, put a hit out on somebody or whatever the case may be is going to do. And, it's so funny because, I mean, he is not an intimidating man as far as size or what but the way he played that role.
Yeah. He didn't have to be.
And then again, Robert De Niro was in that as well, which a lot of people kind of forget, I guess, so to speak, playing the young Vito Corleone.
Yeah.
In the flashback scenes, because that movie went back and forth from Vito coming over to the United States from Italy to Michael already taking over the family, which leads us to the first movie on the list, which is probably most people's, which is The Godfather.
Right. Now you want to talk about intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the definition of intimidating right
Hands
there.
Hands down, one of, if not the greatest film ever made, arguably. I'm sure a lot of people would argue that fact.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Caan, Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, Robert Duvall, Al Pacino, Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on. The writing, the acting, the lighting, the using of the light and the dark colors. Yeah. It was a phenomenal film. And I love the fact that Michael took over the family and you didn't expect him to take over the family.
Sure.
Because, I mean, he's he was the one that wasn't supposed to be in the family business. He went off to the war. He was in the army. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be the, like Vito says, you weren't supposed to be in this. He was supposed to be Senator Corleone or, Congressman Corleone.
Yeah.
But it couldn't have been Sonny. He had too much of a temper. And
he had short fuse, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it couldn't have been Fredo. Fredo just wasn't smart enough. He just wasn't with it enough. He didn't really have the intelligence and the nerve to run the family. So calm, cool, and collective, Michael was the one that did it.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, that's a pretty powerful list.
It is. And I mean, like I said, De Niro and Pacino being in half or more than 6 and 5 of them.
Yeah.
They are the mob connoisseurs of films.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
De Niro, he could just look at you and say a million words without opening his mouth.
Yeah. Not that we're promoting it, but I remember when it wasn't on our list, but is just as good. The movie Heat with Pacino and De Niro, when it came out, we went to the theater, and a few of us that went to saw it. Two of my buddies were smokers, and we got out of that movie, and they couldn't wait to light up a smoke. I'd never seen anybody enjoy a smoke that much on screen. It was just they got away from that, and I understand why in the movies, but if you notice, some of the movies are coming back and they're smoking again, but it was that more realistic, like the drinking and the smoking and after hours clubs and
well, I mean, it posed
killing people,
just like these movies, just like Goodfellas.
Yeah,
they go out to one bar that is owned by somebody. They run up a $7,000 tab.
Yeah,
they're drinking, they're smoking, they're there with their girls, and their wives are home. I mean, it's a crazy lifestyle.
Yeah,
but it was a realistic portrayal of that lifestyle.
That's right. Yeah,
whether you agree with it or not, it's
no. I mean, like I said, we're not promoting smoking. First of all,
but I'm just saying, I'm not promoting having a girlfriend when you have a wife.
No,
I mean,
absolutely,
it is what it is.
But the drinking and the nightlife and their clubs, and the clubs are fronted for drugs and gun smuggling, and it was that whole, like, these guys were out all night, right?
Yeah,
you wouldn't be home for days.
Yeah. Well, remember the one scene in Goodfellas where he comes home the next morning.
Yeah.
And the mother-in-law, they just got married. Remember?
Yeah.
The mother-in-law is like, "Where have you been all night?" And he just starts laughing, turns around and walks away.
Yeah. Yeah. So
definitely not for, not the family man,
No,
he should be.
No, that's right.
But that's the life they lead. And that's, I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't condone it, but it was a realistic portrayal.
You know what? We discuss movies on this quite a bit, and entertaining as hell, that list, I tell you. You can pick any one of those movies, Sunday afternoon, anytime, Saturday night, whatever. But I'm just saying, that's a great list to
the 10 of those movies are remote drops. You go by that film, any of those films, in any part of those films, and you come across it, I put the remote down. I'm done. I'll stay right here. So
yeah.
But good stuff. And I like, the segue into it. I mean, the mob ties and the other stuff. It's pretty fun. Pretty good.
Yeah. But now, completely different, other than the mob movies, we have something totally different this week. We have guests, Tony.
We do. Our first guests.
Our first guest. This is pretty exciting for us.
It is. Somebody had to be the first, and who better than our first that's coming on?
Yeah, and we're excited that these guys are joining us, and they have a movie out, American Hun Story, available on Amazon Prime and Tubi, streaming everywhere. So I'm going to bring in our guests, Lorenzo Leonard and Teli Share.
There he is.
How we doing, guys? Great to see you.
Gentlemen, great to have you here. Welcome to round 14.
Thank you so much for having us. It's an honor, and I absolutely love the name of your podcast.
It is pretty cool. I'll give you that.
Very cool. Yes, you guys are great. I watch your podcast. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
We absolutely appreciate it. So, gentlemen, American Hun Story.
Yes.
Available on Amazon Prime, available on Tubi.
Yes.
Why don't you start, Lorenzo, and introduce yourself to those who do not know you. I'm not sure why they wouldn't.
And come on now, why wouldn't you know Lorenzo?
Who doesn't know Lorenzo? Come on.
Right. So go ahead, yes. Lorenzo, and then we'll let Tony introduce himself too.
Sounds great. My name is Lorenzo Leonard, and our film is American Hun Story. I am the star, the writer, and the producer. And it's an honor to be here today with you.
Great. And Teli, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Thank you, Round 14, for having me. Hello, team and Tony. My name is Teli Share. I'm the producer, writer, and director of American Hun Story, and very excited to be here tonight.
Well, we're excited to have you guys both, and you definitely are a good yin-yang together. So, Teli's the calm end, I could see. Lorenzo has the caffeine intake, so that's good.
Absolutely, I got it going. Yes.
For every push, there has to be a pull. Right?
Exactly.
So you can't,
that's awesome. So you guys wrote it together. I'm assuming you said you're writer of the American Hun Story as well.
Yes, we both wrote it together. Yes,
okay.
Tony.
Okay, cool. And what was the inspiration for writing the film? Like where'd that come from?
From writing this film, well, we were in production for our series, our docu-series that's coming out after this. We were going to Vegas, and we just started, whenever we're together with his brother, we're always talking about ideas. Mm-hmm. And we started chatting about those old, cheesy, late 80s, early 90s, 900 number commercials that would come on at 11, 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Where it would start out with the person on the TV, and then it would go close up, and it would be like, "Are you alone? Do you need to call someone? Call 1-900 Intimate Connections." Yeah. And it was just so cheesy. And we were thinking, why don't we take that and kind of make fun of it and also add some real life issues with that? If you had some woman like that saying, "Hey, do you have depression?" And she's speaking in such a way, but she looks, with her lingerie all sexy, and you're so intrigued by it. So that's where it came about. We had a successful Instagram series. We do short tidbits of it for 60 seconds. And then Teli said to me, why don't we make this into a feature? So we came up with some, we researched trending topics. Okay. And the biggest trending topics were insomnia, depression, and then kind of like a total failure of life. What do you do? So then we took those topics and wrote American Hun Story.
And now where does the title come from?
Title is actually very tricky when it comes to like a film title, because we wanted something that could easily be linked to some other popular title, because
right.
Like if you wanted to be on like a streaming service and you're trying to be discovered, you wanted a title that's kind of catchy but also resonate with some other like popular titles. So when someone searched those popular titles, your title could easily pop up as a follow-up.
Right.
So that's discoverability. That's one of the reasons why we came up with that. But also, as far as the story, like I keep telling the guys, like American Hun Story is like our story, like your story. Like when we wrote this, we were trying to write something that a lot of men in particular can relate, like average men, hardworking men who are marginalized. I mean, they're out there, and we know that men who are struggling. So we wanted to, do something for them, and we wanted to write something funny, but at the same time, there's a message behind that. Sure. When people watch, they can relate. So that's the story, the story meaning.
Very cool.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, Lorenzo.
Yes, sir. Hey, Tim, how are you doing, sir?
You know what? I'm doing wicked, brother. I'm so excited you guys are here.
Hey, so, I'm gonna say, hey, wicked,
eh? So I always, you know what?
I like when I get DMs from you, because it always ends with the A, and it's like sometimes I'll look at it and go, "Who's this? Who's this?" Oh, Tim. Okay.
Yeah. I don't even realize I'm saying it, and I'll go through the drive-through and get a cup of coffee, and I'll just instantly say, thanks, have a good day.
See, we need that in America. Maybe we should change it in America and go, hey, can I have a burger? Yo. Bring a little Rocky. Yo.
The American A. I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the one question I was thinking, how different, if any, did you envision this from the start to the finish of this film? Did it change at all mid-film, like your original concept from the final product, or did you kind of stay pretty much where you started from?
It changed. I would say there's an evolution path. Like when it first started, like Lorenzo said, we're having fun. So we're on a route to Vegas. We talk about brothels and talking about those cheesy phone lines. But as we were making those episodes, and we're trying to realize, hey, you know what? We have a message here that we can talk about. Then we started to put in some story. Like, let's say we create this character who, goes through a lot of these problems that a lot of men are going through. Right. How do we put it together to have a storyline, and how does it go through all these obstacles and challenges, and realize, how do you prevail in a hard time like that?
Right.
And so there is definitely an evolution going from just light and having fun to have something much more meaningful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. And then we also, what's good when you're making film, sometimes you're so into it that, everything seems great to you, but sometimes you need to step back and let the audience provide feedback. So we did a focus group during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
We got submitted to a film festival, and we had a great audience of people, and they also provided feedback. And from that, we changed the film, and we're very excited with the final draft now.
No, that's great. That's a great point about having the test audience, right? So
yeah, and it's amazing what you think. At least what I thought they would laugh at, they weren't, and the stuff I didn't think they laugh at, they were laughing at. So I thought that was
figure, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But like you said, I mean, you have to listen to it in some way. I mean, it's if all those people are laughing at that certain scene, it must be funny.
Definitely. And let us tell you what it's about. So we have American Hun Story, and I play Stanley Birdie, who's getting divorced, as some of us might know. Look at that. Our poster there, made by Chris Davidson. Awesome job he did.
Yeah, so great.
Yeah, really good. So I play Stanley Birdie, who's losing everything to a divorce, as many men might know that. And he's getting beat down by all the harsh realities that come with that. And then this mysterious business card shows up on his desk to call a number, 1-844-HUN for fun. And when he calls this number, this mysterious Mr. Hun from a different universe shows up and tells him and shows him a way that he can fix all his problems himself with this newly discovered superpower.
Yeah, it's what I watched it. I watched it the other night, and I don't want to say like it had I wanted to use this term, but it had a Pulp Fiction feel. Like it seemed like there was a lot of little stories inside one big story, and it just had that old school feel. Like it just had like a fun. I got the cheesy infomercials and then the messages, and it was just kind of fun. So when I watched it another night later, I knew you guys were coming on, so I kind of skimmed over it again to kind of I don't want to say I miss anything, but you got to really pay attention because there's a lot of stuff happening quickly on different scenes, right? So
but no, I like how you said that, because there is a lot of little stories in the film there. Yes, a lot of little stories.
Right.
You could definitely pick up on the infomercial vibe, or not even really infomercials. I mean, I remember those way back when, when they were coming out. I was bartending at the time, in my late 20s, and I would come home. I'm more wired from work, so I'm wide awake. You put TV on. It's not like it is now, where you could stream whatever you want.
Yeah,
just watch what was there. And they were just slammed with those types of either the 800 numbers or it was the crazy gadgets, sham wows and the crap like that. But it 100% had that vibe of seeing that commercial. Like it almost like that commercial was a prelude to this film. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool seeing that.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I was gonna say one aspect at least I was trying to go for is there's this thing where sometimes, let's say you have a problem, you have an issue, you go for a professional, and I mean it's portrayed in a film. Like Stanley, the character, was going for some professional, consultation, but sometimes it just didn't work. It didn't.
Right.
It doesn't work, and then you don't have a connection. You didn't really feel like you're getting help, and then here comes like a alternative method, something more exciting, and you just felt like you could understand something if it comes from a different perspective or from different attitude that could help you. And I think that's one thing that the film was trying to show in a funny way, I'll say. Like that, like you go to like a serious professional, but then you don't feel like there's any, like you don't feel like it helped you. Like I paid for this and I didn't really help, but then
I didn't get anything.
There's some other way.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
sure, you're right. And I noticed that, and I don't want to give too much of the movie away here, so people should go and see it. But I found that when your character Lorenzo was talking, and he was trying to sell you on life insurance, and he wasn't really listening to you. You're trying to say, give me more. And he's just almost have the blinders on and his one perspective, but that's not what your character needed in this movie until later on when you found out what you needed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, is there any ideas of a Hun Story verse or a sequel or continuous timeline?
We were suggested many times in doing publicity for this American Hun Story Cougar Edition. So we'll have Teli come up with a couple ideas and see how we could incorporate that.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and but right now we're in our post-production for like a docu-series called So You Think You Can. Oh wait, no. So You Think You Can Act. So you got to say it exactly like that.
It's all in the delivery, right?
Exactly, yes. Which is kind of the first of its kind, of all about actors, what actors go through, all about unions, agents, auditioning. We have a number of actors go through auditions. It's a 10-part series. We have industry professionals with the goal in mind of the show in showing you that they're not just say, work hard, never give up, but an actual path where you can have success.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Like Sylvester Stallone, he rode his way there. And then from that, you had like Vin Diesel do the same, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. If you don't know, Vin Diesel wrote a short film called Multifacial, which you can find on YouTube. And that later was seen by Steven Spielberg.
Right. Well, we must be on the same wavelength, so to speak, because the question I have, and both of you, is I'd like to hear what you think of this. We do this little podcast, and I just put it up on YouTube. When you guys are doing a feature film like this, what is what roadblocks, if any, do you have to present it to Amazon or Tubi? How does one, you make a movie, and then you have to sell it to somebody, or somebody has to put it up? Like, what did you find? What challenges do you do when you're putting a movie out like this?
Yeah. Well, first you have to know how to put it out there. And we figured that out by doing our short films, which led to our feature films. And then, when you're an independent filmmaker, it's like a submitting game. You do your best in post-production to get everything as perfect as you can. And then your Teli and Henry I'll get a list together and we'll submit to all our best distribution companies. And then we'll all do follow-up calls. We'll hound these people. And in the end, we went with the distribution company, which I'll let Teli tell you about that one.
So, I mean, the industry is changing, honestly, like with all the streaming services, including YouTube itself. So you have these services called aggregator, as well as the traditional distribution companies. And what it is some of these companies, they are mainly focusing on taking independent filmmakers title works. So they actually try to help independent filmmaker projects. And what they do is they take your projects and they can help pitch, because they play the middleman. Okay. So the major streaming services, they don't talk to individual, they talk to middlemen. And some of these aggregators, they could help, but you have to make something that's relevant, so that they find you relevant, they're willing to submit for you. Or, I mean, there are so many different forms of aggregator and submission, but the streaming services, they will look for relevant titles that will fit their platform. And if it does, and if you have a middleman, then they'll take your title. So it's like this, like you have to trial, like there's trial and error, and then there's just like research work that you have to do. You have to do your due diligence. Go around and understand. And there's no one way to get into these platforms.
Sure. So it's definitely a similar. I mean, it's just like pitching a treatment or a script or whatever, where you can get told no a dozen times and then finally get told yes.
Yeah, and some people will say you have the best film. Some people say they don't like your film, and then some like it, and some say, well, but you really just gotta, like Sly says, just keep punching. You gotta keep going and going, because this whole industry is so different now. Exactly what Teli said. It's completely these big stars that are on streaming services, you would never see that 5 years ago.
Sure.
Right.
Oh no. Right. No, not at all.
No, that's great. Now, I know you guys both talked about so you think you can act.
That's
Did I say that right?
Wait, try it again. You gotta so you think you can act. One more time.
So you think you can act.
Boom.
There you go. Boom. Hey?
Awesome.
Love it.
Hey.
So now, so that's a project you guys are continuing to work on. Teli, Lorenzo, what other upcoming projects will we be able to find you guys in?
Well, besides that docuseries, we had, we are doing our individual stuff as well. Like with me, I'm working on this augmented reality feature film project. So it's more like on a technology where, because this is also a trending topic, like artificial intelligence in different ways. There's a direct robots, and then there is software, and then there's everything in between, like virtual reality. You could see like Google or Facebook, they're all developing stuff like that. So something like I'm working on to make like a feature film. But
is it a sci-fi type film, or is it a documentary?
It's kind of like sci-fi drama.
Okay. Yeah. Would it be like the movie Her, but just instead of like in the little thing, it's actual person, right? Actual like robot.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's more like this augmented reality. Basically, what it means is you could see some kind of virtual reality through a set of lens, which projected.
Nice.
But it's not really there. It's just you have to see through a window or a monitor or something.
Very cool.
Yeah, something like that's what at least I'm working on my own.
How about you, Lorenzo? What you got coming up?
You might have seen me post stuff about with myself and like a purple face.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was for a Halloween product that's out right now. A little a little square digital screen about kind of like a vampire who's afraid of flying and all kinds of crazy stuff. But you can have a purple Lorenzo in your home singing to you. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
That's the number one Christmas
gift. That's the gift that keeps on giving, right, Tony?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna have to go to Spirit Halloween and see if I could find that.
Yeah, it's online.
I'll
post where you can get it on my Instagram. But I have that, and then I have 2 scripts I'm working on. I was telling Tim that I wrote a film that I'm pitching to Hallmark and a couple other Christmas, streaming service platforms. So I'm working heavy on that right now too.
Yeah, Tina, my wife, wants to really know when the Hallmark movie's coming.
Well, and, Hallmark is quite.
Are you filming this in Canada?
We're keeping out of Canada because everyone goes to Canada.
Okay.
No, well, probably because that's where they all go, Canada and Atlanta. But right now, I'm in that stage of trying to, like what we were saying before, is I'm in the stage trying to get them on the phone now. So I'm doing tons of emails and phone calls. I'm getting hung up on all the time.
Yeah.
So I have to just continue it until I get that person. It's kind of scary because you can easily send it to somebody and they could just say no, and then I can see it on TV in like a year.
Right.
Yeah. So it's quite a, interesting process,
Right.
Like there's a guy who says Creed was stolen from him, which is another interesting story that is his title was Rocky, the Creed series.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's claiming he made that first.
He said that he finished writing that. He went to Ryan Coogler, had a meeting with him, and Ryan told him it was crap. And then he said 2 years later, he saw it at the movie theater. And he says, if you look at our scripts, he said they're very similar.
Yeah.
But this, so that stuff does happen all the time.
Yeah, that's got to be the scary part, like you said, emailing it to somebody and hoping it doesn't get made without you. So. Yeah,
it's very scary. I think that's where independent filmmaking comes, like us doing our own filming, our, like Teli and I, we wrote American Hun Story. We get the distribution ourselves. We put it out there. And that's, I think, a really good success story to just take control of your own stuff and do them.
Well, I think it's awesome. And I wish you guys luck with it. I mean, anybody go on Amazon and Tubi to check it out. It's funny. It's different. It's
definitely funny and different. I mean, you can get a professional doctor who's in our movie explaining insomnia, or you can get a pretty lady in lingerie explaining insomnia to you. Now, who would you want explaining?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that was taken from our lives because there was, I just remember turning 21 and, being at a weird stage where, you want to visit those establishments. And for some reason, everything they said made sense to me.
Right.
No, that's right.
I don't know why. I think we know why.
Whether it made sense or not, it made sense.
It made sense. Yeah. So that's how it all made it into the film. So we're just so proud of American Hun Story. Really
awesome. I think it's awesome. We thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yep.
Wish you luck in the future. And Tim, you got anything else?
No, I just Tony, you said it all. I mean, it's great. Thank you very much for coming on, for joining Round 14, American Hun Story, Amazon Prime, Tubi. Great job. It's definitely interesting and funny. We kind of wrapped it all up in one. We appreciate having you on.
Thank you so much, Tim and Tony. You're the best. We love Round 14.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
Hi, I heard about 1844 Hun for fun, and honestly, I'm really looking for some fun. Definitely call me back. Thank you so much. Saw your advertisements.
Hey, loser. Just calling to remind you to have a crappy day, and I hate you, and I hope you trip and fall and break your face. Bye.
So that's what I want to do for my kids. Leave them a legacy.
Life insurance.
Please, I'm sorry. I'll get it resolved. But can you just please help me?
Oh, no.
You're gonna pay for my house, my car, my traveling, my jewelry.
No grudge, no anger, no apathy, no defiance, no frustration.
144 Hun for fun.
So, このアメリカ人のコマーシャル、バカバカしいけど。
I'll fix you up, honey.
Well, there you go. How about those guys?
Wow. Well, that was something, eh? That went pretty well.
I know it did.
Those are, you know,
went well. It was a fun story to talk about.
That's a Hun story, right? So I thank them for coming on.
Yeah, it was cool. Glad to have you guys on. Appreciate it. What do you think? Want to do some trivia?
Well, why not? We've done just about everything else.
I know, right? We did some movies. We did interview. Rocky, Rambo. Of course, we got to do the trivia.
Let me see if I can find the I keep saying rollerblades, right? Roller
skates. A little
skates.
older than roller skates. That's
the roller skates, and I got a pocket full of quarters. So
there you go.
Let's fire it up.
Let's do it.
There you are.
Every time.
Every time. All right. So what do you got for trivia?
I have 5 questions of all Mafia movie trivia.
Okay.
I do not have any Rocky or Rambo. I have all my questions written and ready.
You know what? I have all mine written too. No Rocky this week. All Mafia. So
let's see. Here's the deal. I wanted to be kind of fair, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I did all true or false.
Okay. Well, you know what? To return your fairness, I didn't do true or false, but I've got multiple choice.
There you go. See that? Goes to show you how good we are at trivia. We need help now.
There we go. Seems like we're getting worse at trivia.
Yeah,
as we go on.
Right.
But hey,
it's entertaining. They guess in the comments anyway, so we have fun.
It's pretty much how it would go if we were actually doing trivia. We'd look for the multiple choice.
All right. So you want to start? Or you want me to start?
I'll start.
All right.
See if I can get a lead here real quick. All right, Goodfellas. We talked about that in our top 10. All right. Henry has a mistress in Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
Is her name Frenchie Carbone, Janice Rossi, Marie Vario, or Janice 2 times?
Janice Rossi.
That is correct. Thought I could suck you in with the Janice 2 times.
See, I remember that one because I remember the scene where the wife is pressing on the intercom.
Yeah.
she's yelling for the superintendent.
And she's just holding it, eh? And calling her every name in the book, and the people are coming out. She's got the kids with her. Jesus. Right? Like she's pissed. No,
it's like dysfunctional 101 family, you know. How do you do that?
And she's just screaming.
All right. So we'll go with the Goodfellas theme for my first question as well. Okay. Goodfellas won the Academy Award for Best Picture. True or false?
That's true.
Sadly, that is false.
That's bullshit.
Who beat it that year? They were nominated for Best Picture. Yeah. Guess who won Best Picture over Goodfellas?
What year was it, Goodfellas?
1990.
1990. Pretty Woman. I don't know, but I mean,
Dances with Wolves.
Okay, listen. I like Dances with Wolves.
I did too, and I love Kevin Costner.
It's a good movie, but I don't want to go offside on Kevin Costner because I love Kevin Costner. No. But who the hell is picking?
I think Kevin Costner would even admit that Goodfellas should have won.
Yeah, who in the hell is picking that over? See, this is why the Academy Awards. I won't watch it.
Exactly.
Complete horseshit.
Exactly. Well, Frank Stallone said that on his post that day.
I'm sorry. This is
garbage.
This is not PG-13 anymore. I'm gonna have to swear.
No.
But like I said, I like Goodfellas. I like Dances with Wolves.
Goodfellas was one of the best movies made
Yeah.
Ever.
All right. I'm done.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
anyway.
I got my rant out of the way. I got my rant out of the way.
Number 2.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right.
All right, you're up.
All right. Scarface.
Okay.
Scarface broke a record in his time that it was came out. Most people killed, biggest snort, longest feature movie, or most use of the F word.
The F-bombs were dropped the most times in that film at that time.
That is correct. And I don't have the exact count, but there was a lot of them.
There was a lot. The only reason why I know that though is because supposedly the Wolf of Wall Street beat it, and that's how I knew that one had was the original winner. But imagine having that job. Press play and count that. 1,
crazy,
2.
Anyways,
all right, number 2. I have a good one. The Godfather 2 was the only sequel to ever win Best Picture at the Academy Awards. True or false?
Oh, you know what? That's true.
That is true.
Yeah, no, I had to think about that for a second. I was like, there's nothing else that sequels
Nothing
usually
else
don't
even
do
comes
well.
close. No other sequel even comes close.
Yeah.
That is true. All right. So you are, what are you, one for one? 1 for 2?
I'm 1 out of 2.
1 and 2. Okay.
50%. That's not bad.
I know.
All right. What do I got here? I got a Bronx Tale question.
Ooh, good.
Okay. Which one is not one of Sonny's men?
Oh, boy.
All right. Frankie Coffee Cake, Vinny the Wop, Jimmy Whispers, or Bobby Bars?
What was the last one?
Bobby Bars.
I was going to go with the WAP, but now you got me. I'm thinking second guessing myself. I'm going to say the WAP.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Last week you didn't stick with your gut. This week you
did. See?
It's Vinny the Wop is not one of his men.
Yeah.
You know,
they wouldn't have called themselves a WAP.
Because you got to have Frankie Coffee Cake in there, right?
You remember that scene where Frankie Coffee Cake? No good. I don't want that face looking at these dice. Put them in the bed.
Unbelievable, right? Like I said,
go back and watch
some of these movies.
And he stayed in the bathroom.
Yeah. And he makes him stay in there. That's great scene.
Okay. Oh, I'm 3 for 3.
Wow, you're on fire. You know what?
I'm doing my Italian heritage proud.
Okay.
All right. Number 3. In The Godfather. We all know the famous scene of the horse's head in the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Of the movie producer.
I say that all the time when if I play a lot of sports pools, and I pay up because I said, I don't want to wake up with a horse head in my bed.
Exactly.
People just laugh.
So did they film that scene with a real horse's head? True or false? That scene was filmed with a real horse's head.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Now they didn't kill the horse.
No, it isn't.
But it was a real head.
Yeah, that's right.
That is true. So see,
I did see. I knew that. That's not bad.
I'm only beating you by 1.
That's not bad. Well, let's see what I can do here. All right. Godfather opening scene. They're celebrating a wedding.
Yes.
Michael's wedding, Sonny's wedding, Fredo's wedding, Connie's wedding.
That's an easy one. Come on, that's Connie's wedding.
All right. Well, I know. I just want to get a question in there.
Connie's wedding.
Good.
And a small fact of that, my father knows the guy that played Connie's husband.
There you go. You might do a clean sweep this week, Stallion.
I might.
There you go.
We should do.
I got one more. So
I have 2 more. Okay, so in the movie Casino, it was the Tangiers Hotel was where it was taking place. Yep. Is that a real Las Vegas casino? True or false?
That's false. It's not a real casino.
That is correct. It is not. It was based on the Stardust Hotel.
Yep. That's not bad. See, I'm only 1 off.
See? You're 3 for 4.
Boy, if I get
if I don't get this one, you get the next one. We tie.
Well, then we'll have to go to a tiebreaker. So
yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
All right. What I got here? Where am I here? I don't know what.
We got dead silence.
I lost my questions. All right. I guess you have to ask. That's all the questions I have.
Oh, you're done?
More. Yep.
Okay. All right. I have one more.
Okay.
All right. So if you get this one, we could tie, whatever. All right. So the Bronx Tale was based on a one-man play. True or false?
A one-man play.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Even though you guessed that was true, but it is true.
I did guess it. Bad poker face, but I got it
no,
right.
You know the story behind that was Chaz Palminteri put on a one-man show off Broadway in New York City. And Robert De Niro was in the audience and said he wanted to go back and meet the actor.
Yeah.
And obviously De Niro was already a name at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he said, I loved what you did. I want to make this a movie. And I want to play the father. I want you to play Sonny.
Yeah. How great is that, right?
And how do you say he goes in? And if you say yes to me, we do it the way you want.
Yeah.
And they shook hands and they did it the way he wanted.
You know what? Handshake deal doesn't happen very often anymore.
Not anymore.
Right?
No.
And
not anymore.
What a phenomenal movie that turned out to be. Yep. Great show, Tony.
That was good.
Right? Fun trivia. Yes, I did guess the last one, but and honestly, it was a guess. But it sounded like
the WAP one.
I was like, you know what? That sounds about right. Even though, but it's a great story, and thank you for telling it. But anyways, thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you to Lorenzo and to Teli for joining us on round 14. That was a blast. Yes. And again, guys, American Hun Story available now on Amazon Prime and Tubi. I'm telling you, it's different.
Yeah,
okay? It's different.
It's entertaining.
Yeah. And you always know what you're going to get from Lorenzo, high energy guy. So
a lot of energy.
I appreciate them coming on. Tony, my friend, this was a blast.
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
Hope everybody enjoys it. Hope everybody likes it. Let us know. Give us some comments. Give us some feedback. Go check out Lorenzo's new movie.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week. Have a good one.
See you down the road, guys.